Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are creating Facebook login page clone using HTML and CSS. It's gonna be a quick project, not gonna take a lot of time. Let me quickly show you what we are going to build now. Alright, so right here on this tab, we have the real Facebook login page. And this one right here is the clone we are going to create. And you can see that it's looking similar to the original one. And I have made it with a few differences because I want to give you that feeling that you have built that yourself. And it's not exactly the copy of the original page. And if I resize this, you can see that it's responsive and it looks good. As you saw, this is going to be a very small project and not gonna take a lot of time. Before we open VS Code and start creating this project from scratch, if this is your first time right here, my name is Usman. I'm a self-taught web developer and I make tutorials about web development. And if that's something that you really like, I recommend you to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. All right, enough with the intro. Let's now open VS Code and start creating this project from scratch. All right, so VS Code is open. I have a PNG image of Facebook logo right here, and that will be in the description below the video. So now let's create a couple of files. Let's create index.html and let's create also style.css. Okay, so I'm going to say style.css. Inside the index.html file, let's create our boilerplate, and for the title, let's call this Facebook login. Inside the body, let's have a container, div with the class of container. And inside this div, we'll have two different divs. That one will be with the class of container-heading. And the other one will be with the class of container form. So I'm going to say container form. And inside the container.heading, we'll have a heading, h2 heading, and we'll say connect with friends, and the world will have a line break, so I'm going to say br, and here we'll say connect with friends and the world around you on Facebook dot. Okay, inside the container form we will have another div, so I'm going to say div with the class name of login box, and inside this div we will have div with the class name of input, and inside this input div we will have input, so I'm going to say input of type text, and this one will be with a placeholder, so I'm going to say placeholder email or phone number, and we are going to copy this div one more time and we're going to paste it below this one. So I'm going to paste it right here, and this one will be with the type of password, and I'm going to say password right here, so password. All right, below this, what we will do, we will have another div which will store the login button. So I'm gonna create div with the class name of login btn container, and this container will have a button, and that button will have an ID of login, so login -btn, and we're gonna say log in right here. All right, and below this button we will have an href, so I'm gonna say href, and that will be hash for the moment. It will not go anywhere, and I will give ID of this. I'll say ID will be forgot -password href. I'm gonna call that like that, and I'm gonna say forgot password, just like that. And below this we'll have another empty div, and we will call this underline, and this will be the line underline the underline the login btn. All right, and then before that, after that, I'm sorry, after this div with the class name of login btn container, we will have a button. So I'm going to say button, and this button will have an ID of create. So create account btn dash btn, and I will say create new account. And finally, below this div, below the login box div, we will have a paragraph, and that paragraph will have a class of create page text, and the paragraph will be will have an href inside, another hash right here, and this one we will put create a page right here, and after the closing element for the href we'll say for a celebrity comma brand or business, just like that. And I'm gonna hit prettier to prettify this, and I believe we are done with the HTML structure. And let's quickly link our CSS. So I'm gonna say link style.css, and I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna open this with live server, and you will see what we have created only with HTML. So we have created this. Let's now start styling that, and we will see how it will start looking as the real Facebook login page. So inside the style.css, what I'm gonna do now, actually I forgot something. I forgot to put, let me just quickly, so I forgot to put the image inside the container heading. And this image will be right here. So we'll have image, and the source of this will be /facebook.png, and for the alt I will give a hash, just like that. And with that, if I save now and open again, we will see the logo which was missing. Okay, let's start styling this as I said before. Before doing any type of styling, let's do a reset. So I'm going to say box sizing, border box, and we'll say margin to be 0 and padding to be 0. All right. After that, we will start styling the container. So I'm going to say dot container, and this container is holding the other divs we have, which are the container heading and the container form. So the container basically will have a display of flex. It will have flex direction of row. It will have flex wrap. So when we resize, they will wrap. A width of 100%. A height of 100 VH. It will take the whole viewport, the whole page. We'll say align items to the center. I will say justify content. Space evenly, and we're gonna say overflow hidden because we don't want any scroll bars. So I'm gonna say hidden, and let's put text align. So text align center, and background color will be hexadecimal. So hexadecimal, right? F0, F2, F5, which is kind of leaning towards gray. Now if I save and I open, we will see what we have. So we see that the image is quite big. So let's resize this image and make it smaller. So what I'm gonna do now, up here, I'm gonna say image, and for the image we'll have a width of 301 pixels, a height of 106 pixels, and we'll say align self to the left, just like that. And if I save this and come back, we'll see that the logo became smaller as we want. All right. And now we'll continue styling that. So after the container, we are going to style. Hold on, let me just quickly get back to the point I was. So container, we have the container styled, and we will start styling the heading. So we're gonna say that container heading, and we want to style the H2. And this H2 will have a font size of 24 pixels. It will have a color of hexadecimal 1C1 E21. All right. Font weight. So font weight will be 300. And we'll say text align to the left, just like that. Save that, come back, and we can see that our text changed right here. I forgot something else. For the font family, right here on the star, which says everything, which selects everything, we're gonna say font family, Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif. And then continue styling the rest. Container heading H2, then we will style our container form. So I'm going to say dot container form, and this container form will have a width of 396 pixels. It will have a height of 349 pixels. All right. And it will have display as flex. The flex direction will be column, align item center, and the justify content will be center. Now, after we save, we'll see that those moved in a centered position. Inside this container, you will see this container when I give this container a box sizing and a background, drop shadow, and background color. And after this, after the container dash form, we can start styling the login box to see this container holding those elements. So login box will have a background color. So I'm going to say background color of white, width of 100%, we'll have height, so height of 100%. So basically to the parent element, which is this one, we are giving fixed width and height, but as the login box is an element of this parent container, and when we say width 100% and height 100%, it will basically expand, and it will take the same width and height right here. And if we also say border, none, border radius, I'm going to say border radius 8 pixels. So 8 pixels for border radius. And padding, we'll have padding inside it. Padding will be 20 top and bottom, 0 left, and 20 for the rest. And then below this we'll have a box shadow, and this shadow will be 0, 2 pixels, 4 pixels. RGBA will be 0, 0, 0 divided by 10%, and then we will have a comma. Actually, the comma will be right here, so I'm going to say comma right here, and 0, 8 pixels, 16 pixels. So 8 pixels, 16 pixels. RGBA 0, 0, 0 divided by 10%. This thing I copied from the styling of the official page. So if we open right now, we will see that we have a box shadow, and we can see the background of the login box. All right, let's come back and continue. Below the login box, let's style the inputs. So each input will be, so I'm going to say each input is inside an input div. So to style in each input, we have to say input input, and the background of the input, so I'm going to say background color will be white, so F, and border will be 1 pixel solid hexadecimal DDDEFE2. Color will be hexadecimal 1D2129, and we'll give a height, so 22 pixels for height. We will say line height 16 pixels. Padding, we have top and bottom 0 and 8 for the left and right. Vertical align, so vertical align will be middle. Font size, let's give this 17 pixels. Padding, did I say padding before? Yeah, padding 0.8 pixels. Padding, all right, so let's see how this padding will look like, and then we will have, because I have done it in a separate way. So width will be 364 pixels, and height, actually this height is not valid right here, so I'm going to delete this. The actual height is bigger than this, so I'm going to say height of 52 pixels, and border radius of 6 pixels. And we also gonna give a margin, so margin top and bottom will be 6 pixels and 0 for the left and right. After I save this and come back to the browser, we can see that our inputs are much bigger and are looking as the Facebook original ones right here. So let me switch the tabs, and here we can see what we're creating. All right, let's continue. So input is styled. Let's also style now the which element, the login, btn, and the forgot password. All right, so I'm gonna say right here hash. So hash is targeting the ID of this element, so ID login btn, and this login btn will have a background color of hexadecimal 1877 f2, which is blue. Border none, so border none. Border radius of 6 pixels. Font size 20 pixels. We'll give a line height, so line height 48 pixels. All right. Padding, so padding, let me just have a quick look here what we have done. Okay, height, width, so let's continue. So padding will be 0 top and bottom, 16 left and right. Width, we'll give this a width of 364 pixels, same as the inputs. Color will be white, so hexadecimal white. And cursor pointer, so cursor pointer margin of 10 pixels top and bottom, and 0 left and right. If we save now, we will be able to see our login button, and it is looking great. Let's continue with the forgot password element. So I'm gonna jump back to VS Code, and the forgot password element basically will be, so I'm gonna say hash forgot password dash ref, and this one will be with the color of same blue, and will be font size of 14 pixels, font weight, so font weight of 500, text decoration will be none, so text decoration none, no underline, but when we hover over it, we will display that underline. I will show you how. Display will be block, and margin will be 6 pixels, top and bottom, and 0 left and right. And let's do the hovering. So after we hover on this element, we want to say forgot password href semicolon hover. So when we hover, we want the text decoration. So text decoration to be underlined. So I'm going to say text decoration underline, just like that. Let me increase the size of this for you. All right, and I think that's it. And when we hover over it, we can see that we have this text decoration underline. Let's have the line below this and start styling this create new account button, and also finish up the rest. What I'm gonna do now, below login btn, I'm gonna say div with the class name underline. We have given this div. We can say border bottom 1 pixel solid DADDE1, and we're gonna give this div a margin of 20 pixels top and bottom and 16 left and right. After I save this, we will be able to see the line below, and we can see it, and it's looking exactly the same as the original Facebook login page. And now let's style the create new account button. So right here, maybe right here, let's say, we can say create, so hash ID create dash account btn, and this button will have a background color of 42, so 42 B72A. All right, and the border will be none, so border none. Border radius, so border radius of 6 pixels. Font size of 17 pixels. Line height, I'm going to give this a line height of 48 pixels. Padding 0 top and bottom, 16 left and right. Color will be white, so white for the color, and we're going to say cursor to be pointer. If I save now, come back, we can see the button looking as the original one, create new account. All right, and now let's style this last element right here, and after that we will be ready with our Facebook login page clone. We can say, okay, right here, let's say below this forgot password ref, we can say dot create page text, and also create page ref. So create page ref. The text is with the color of 1C, basically it's this one, the black one. Font size, so font size of 14 pixels. Font weight of this is normal, so no font weight. Padding top, so I'm gonna say just padding top of 0. Actually, let's just say margin top. So margin top of 28 pixels. And the create page ref element, that will be the text decoration. none, and the same color as the rest of the text, which is this one, black. And font weight, let's say font weight, because it's looking a little bit bolder to me on the original one. As you can see, this is bolder than this one, than the rest of the text. So let's say we want to give this font weight of 600. Okay, hit save, come back, and we can see that we have recreated. Okay, something is wrong here. Let me see what. Okay, create page ref. Create. Oh, I haven't given this an ID, so create page ref. All right, save, come back, and we can see that it's still not working. Let me see why. Create page ref. Create page text, create page ref. Oh, because it's a class. Okay, we have to give it an ID, just like that. Hit save, and we can see that it's gone. So if I resize this, it's looking good, it's responsive. And this is what we created today, guys. I really hope you liked this video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to the channel, recommend to friends, and become part of this fantastic family of front-end developers. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you again in next videos.